Hello.
All right, everybody. Happy Thursday. Here we go. Welcome. All right. Another week, another happy series for you guys. Helping everyone out, doing some good stuff into the world. Love it.
Yep. How are you guys doing today? So we just welcome more people into the room.
Right on. Okay.
I'm going to get us started there.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll hop into it, get things going real quickly. So in case nobody has been here or is watching this afterwards before, my name is Zach. This is Monique. We're doing this energy and mindset webinar. So every week we're doing this, helping people out. And sometimes we might go a little fast, but don't worry, you can push pause. Don't worry, you can make us go really fast if you want to and listen at 2x speed. It's all fun. Do whatever you guys need to enjoy it at your own pace and everything like that. Just in case you've never been here before, energetic alignment, the energy of the world, it's all over, right? It's the physics of the world. We're all made of atoms and things like that. And so we're talking about how to harness that energy, use that energy, work with that energy, like water. You don't want to work against it because big water is going to win, right? Lots of fun stuff with that. And then so mindset is basically manipulating that energy into the world, kind of like physics is the energy, the mindset is the engineering of it. So it's like how you apply it and what you do with those things. And so why is this so important? Because we want to take energy before the action in our life, because if you're taking action from a place of clouded energy, from a place of limiting beliefs, from traumas in your past, well, then you're going to end up attracting more things into your world that just reinforce those traumas and those limiting beliefs, because you're going to be looking out for them. Just like if you say, oh, do I ever see a green punch bug driving around car, you know, punch bug. You see them a lot in Mexico, but they'll be everywhere. And in Mexico, they'll absolutely be everywhere. But that's the thing, is we're just going to align our brains, align our thoughts and everything so that we can get in that great mindset of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve in life. So again, if someone wants to work with us after this, I always do real estate deals. I'm loving doing deals with people, helping people out in real estate, but that's my background is real estate investing. And I've been doing this for 10 years. And I've been on this mindset journey where Monique, she's been on her own journey with energy, but she's an energy coach and intuitive healer, all those really fun things that I never knew existed in this whole industry until we got together. So, all right, just please use the chat. Feel free, type your comments in, questions, and we'll get to them as best as we can. We'll do some general Q&A at the end, but I definitely want to get some engagement from you guys while we're doing this, because if you guys have some questions, please, we'll pull you up, get them answered, because if you have them, other people have them, I am sure. And you're just a brave one that's willing to ask those questions. So we love you for that.
Yes. And like Zach was saying, my background is my recent background is in energy work. I have my master's in public health and behavioral sciences, and that kind of dropped me into the energy healing space. So I have a very scientific background, but I talk in more esoteric terms. I can talk in more esoteric terms. So if something isn't quite clicking, please let me know, because I would be more than happy to explain that, because our energy body is a thing and it connects to our everyday life via our subconscious mind and our nervous system. And so this is how we can judge the health of our energy body, is by judging the health of our nervous system, of our thoughts, of our emotional state on a day-to-day basis, and of just the overall quality of experiences that we are having every single day, right? So today we are going to continue more into the art of manifesting, which I know manifesting can have that little woo term to it, but it is anything but, because we're doing it every single day. And it is just when I say manifesting, I mean a conscious co-creation, an intentional creation using your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, your actions, as well as the energy of that which is always around us. So whether that's God, a higher power, spirit, or just the field of energy, that is all of this energy that we can't see, but we can experience in different senses, using different senses. So we want to manifest, just a quick recap from last week. We manifest through our ability to heal our past traumas, through our ability to be aware of our thoughts and our emotions, through our ability to feel like I can have this. Even if I don't feel worthy of this, I know that I can still have it, because feeling worthy and having what we want do not have to be the same thing. They do not have to be in bed together. So when we can understand that, I can have whatever I want just because I want it. Yes, I have to take action to get there, but I don't necessarily need to feel like I'm 100% worthy of this all of the time. And it's just understanding that because we're here, we have a desire in our heart. That desire is meant for us to have. Do we need to take action to get there? Yes. Will we need to heal some past traumas, some emotional woundings, some shitty limiting belief systems? Yeah, probably, because those are going to get in our way. And that's how we create our reality, is through our beliefs, through our emotions, through our perspective of the world.
And that's why she's saying that we're creating all around us all the time.
Yeah.
We're all manifesting, whether you realize it or not. Realize it because it's happening all around you. And so you can either manifest, from that limiting belief, and you'll attract those, or you can go there from a cleared head, and attract those things that you really want. So we're always talking about how many more ways can we clear our minds so that we can attract what we want, and how can we best attract those things. And so that's what she's going to be going into.
3 shifts that you can make in your day-to-day to help that attraction or that co-creation be a little bit easier. So the intention of today is to give you guys tools so you're not burning yourself out. So you're not stressing every single day. So you're not biting your nails to the very core.
Oops, little technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So you're not biting your nails to like the very tips of your fingertips and like driving yourself crazy out of a stress response. So the 3 shifts that I want to talk with you guys about today will help it so you're not so stressed out. So you're not constantly like thinking and dwelling on that which you are desiring in your life. And my intention is that you'll walk away feeling a little bit more confident in your ability to create what it is that you desire, because that's what we're doing. The reality that we've created today is an accumulation of our previous thoughts, previous emotions, which dictate our previous actions. That has led us to the reality that we are currently living. So if we want a different reality in one way or another, then we need to change our thoughts, our emotional state, our just baseline emotional state, thus changing the actions that we take each day. We all know that we take different actions when we're thinking more positive thoughts and when we're thinking more negative thoughts, when we're feeling better and when we're not feeling great. And so the intention today is just to support you and knowing that there are options and that you don't have to do everything on your own, because you're not by yourself. We are composed of energy. The energy that creates us, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only transmutes into different forms over and over and over again. All the energy that's ever existed exists right now in this moment. So the energy that creates you in this moment, it was here before you were in physical form. It will be here when you leave physical form. Your body is just the vehicle that this energy is moving through your life with. So know that you're not alone. There's energy that you came from. There's energy that you'll go back to. And we can call on the support of that energy, which people refer to as God or a higher power or spirit, whatever you believe in, please insert it there. And it's just, you can refer to that. You can rely on that. You can use it as a resource to guide you, because we can't do all of this on our own.
Yeah. And just to underscore that point real quickly, God, energy, universe, things like that, they are all related, guys. I mean, it's happy, happy things. I don't necessarily care what you believe in. I just care that you are a good, loving, kind soul into this world and you're putting wonderful energy out there.
Yeah.
So I could insert my own beliefs, but that doesn't matter, is the point of that. And so I just want you to know that it matters to you. So do that. Absolutely do that, and if it's important that it is God or that it isn't God because you can't relate to that or you absolutely do relate to that, awesome.
Yeah. Rock on.
Both ways are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's very accepting and loving energy, because loving energy is that highest vibrating energy that's in the world. And so that's what we're giving off all the time. And let's just love on each other a little bit more.
And so last week, thank you, Morgan. I feel a lot better today. And so last week, we talked about some intro to manifestation and building that believability. So if you watched last week's, we kind of left you guys with a little exercise. So if you did the exercise, I would love to see in the comments if you had any experience with the exercise. So the exercise was essentially to build believability that we are always in a co-creation with a higher power. I gave a task of just picking something so small, picking something to you that is so small that you're like, duh, that's going to happen. And then just forget about it. Just go on your day and see when it happens. And for both of us, we actually picked the same thing and didn't tell each other. We both picked wanting to see a quarter, wanting to find a quarter. So after our call, I was like, okay, I want to find a quarter. He said that he wanted to see a quarter. We didn't tell each other. And a couple hours go by and I walk into the house. I was out running errands. And this is actually going to lead us into our first point. And I'm in who sees change in a parking lot, right? I'm like, of course I'm going to find a quarter in this parking lot. So I park far away on purpose and I got out of my car and I'm scouring the parking lot looking for a quarter. And I didn't see anything. I didn't even see a penny. And I'm like, dang, I really thought that I was going to see a quarter here. When am I going to find my quarter for the day? And whatever, I got in my car, drove home. By the time I got home, I had totally forgotten about the quarter. And if you know, then you know, but I sat in my car when I parked in the driveway, sat in my car for a few minutes just to like look at my phone, take a couple breaths, look outside. And eventually I'm like, okay, time to go inside. I went inside. As soon as I walked through the door, Zach picked up a pile of mail and in the mail, a quarter dropped out. And he was like, look, I found my quarter. And I'm like, you found my quarter too. So we both saw a quarter. Like I just wanted to see a quarter. He wanted to find a quarter. So we both saw a quarter by the end of the day that day. And sometimes it's not going to happen the same day. Sometimes it'll happen in a couple of days. But if you ended up doing the exercise, I would love to hear about it in the chat. If you did anything. And if not, then I'll encourage you to do it because it's a fun little exercise. And after I had found my quarter, I asked for something else and I ended up getting that the same day as well. And so I wanted to share that story with you because the first shift when it comes to manifesting is we want to be slightly detached from the outcome. So what do I mean by that? I mean, when we want something, it can be so easy to become so hyper fixated on that thing and to then consciously shift our behaviors and warp our actions, thinking that if I do this, I'm going to find that thing. If I do this, I'm going to have that. Like me parking far away in the parking lot thinking, oh, if I do this, I'm totally going to get that quarter. I'm totally going to find that quarter. When in reality, I just parked far away. It was cold as shit that day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cold. I can't even talk I was talking to my sister on the phone. It's like, I can't even talk to her on the phone. My hand was so cold. And so in reality, I just spent extra time out in the cold because I was attached to seeing that quarter. I had this idea of if I do this, I'm going to see the quarter. So I was very, just very connected to seeing that quarter, right? So I was forcing that action. I was forcing taking that action. Okay. So when you say, this is what I want to create in my life, or I want this deal. I want this house. I want this relationship. I want to achieve this health goal. If we become so hyper fixated on it, to where we begin to shift our behaviors around, like, that's all we can think about. Like, I need to have this. I need this. Then what we do is we end up strangling the energy around that desire. Okay. Now, I was explaining this to Zach earlier, and he's like, that sounds a little far out there. So I'll bring this back. I'll bring this down to earth.
No, I mean, so sometimes she's so amazing at what she does. You guys know any industry, when someone is really in that industry, they're talking at a level that's way the heck up here, right? Where it's like, sometimes you just have to break it down, like pretend I know nothing. Pretend I know nothing about these things, right? But we're all childs inside. And so it's just break that down to me in a way that I can digest, because part of it, I'm like, well, shucks, like I want to, so am I supposed to like not take some action towards getting something?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? So if I'm not going after something, then I'm not, I just have to sit back and hope and pray that these things are going to happen. Is that just all that I'm supposed to do into the world? But no, it's not that, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. So I want to talk about that. So that's what we can do, though. We can get caught up in having that desired result, having that outcome, that we begin to take forced action. And that forced action is out of that neediness, which is akin to the energy of fear. So because we fear, I need this, like I have to have this. If I don't have this, then I'm not going to be okay. Right. So I think even me saying that and like me clenching my fist, you can feel that needy energy building in me. You can feel that fear of like, if I don't have this, I'm not going to be okay. A really good example is like dating. When we start dating someone, sometimes we can get a little anxious. They haven't responded to my message yet. We were supposed to go on a date and I haven't heard from them. And we can start to create stories in our head. Or maybe you had your boss called you and said, hey, come to my office later today. I want to talk to you. And you're like, what the heck? Why does he want to talk to me? And you start creating these stories, and you might start taking action out of fear. Okay. So that's where that neediness comes in. If I need this to happen, then I'm going to fearfully take an action. Like I'm going to text this person, even though I texted them 3 hours ago and they haven't responded, I'm going to text them again. Maybe they just didn't get that text. Another hour goes by. I'm just going to send a, hey, you good? Because maybe they just didn't see that text. When in reality, they probably saw all of your texts, or just not responding for some other reason. But we're taking that action out of fear, which is then a forced action, which then actually repels the energy of our desire. Energy is energy is energy is energy. Okay. So if we're taking fearful action and we're texting someone and we're actually driving them crazy, we're repelling that person. All right. Energy is energy. The energy of a person can be representative of the energy of money, energy of a business deal, energy of finding a quarter in the parking lot. When we take action out of a fearful space, we then create another outcome with the same energy from the space we're taking action. So if I'm taking action from a place of fear, then I am creating the outcome that's probably going to confirm my fear. Because we are self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
We will subconsciously take action to confirm our beliefs. So if I believe that, I need this, I have to have it, I'm fearful of what will happen if I don't get this, if I don't have this, then we're probably going to end up living out that fear, because we're going to take action that's going to sabotage ourselves, because that's the energy that we are focused on, the fear. Now, when we can remember that fear is just our ego trying to protect us from being hurt, from failing, from rejection, from insert whatever your fear is, then we can remind ourselves, actually, I've lived my entire life up until this point without this desire. I'm good. Do I want this desire? Heck yeah, I want it. Why do I want it? Because it's going to make me feel better. It's going to make me have more either financial freedom, time freedom. It's going to make me feel more confident. However you think it's going to make you feel. I've talked about this 100 times on these calls. But I know that, yes, I want that. And right now, I'm so good without it. I am so good right now. Because I know up until this point, my bills have been paid. Maybe I've been struggling. Yeah, but I still got my bills paid. I am still living day to day. I got groceries. I have a house. I'm good. I've lived up until this point without that desire. So what do? We shift from that needy energy to reminding ourselves, I'm good without this. I'm good right now. Okay. And then from there, from that calm space of reminding ourselves, I'm good no matter what. If this happens, heck yeah, I'm going to celebrate and I'm going to be so happy and I'm going to feel joy. I'm going to feel excitement. I'm going to feel enthusiasm. And if it doesn't happen, well, I've been living like this up until now. So I'm just going to continue living this way until the next thing comes. And if that thing doesn't happen, the next thing's going to be even better, which is the next point that I want to talk about in a second.
Does that make sense to you guys? I just want to like pause there. You know, that whole idea of taking action through that fear and anxiety, and then you can see that either in a relationship or in a deal, talking to a seller, talking to a private lender. If it came from a strong need, if you know that resonates with you, you know, type yes or something in the chat with that. But if it's coming from that fear and how that outcome is completely different than if you're coming from a space of just gratitude and happiness and be like, I'm okay either way. Because remember, when you go to a relationship and if someone is naturally, they're pulling away and you're saying, oh, it's okay if you pull away or not. They're just like, oh, well, wait, you don't need me? Well, then maybe I want you, you know, You're not stressing me out, right? They kind of come back. You've ever do that takeaway in a deal or in sales or in anything like that?
Which is understanding that like, hey, I am valuable.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need this thing.
Yeah. So having that, you know, that to me, that's a big thing. Is it's just, you know, it's okay. Trust that the world will provide at the end of the day for all of these things. And when you put neediness out there, you know, you're going to get a lot of pushback. You're going against the water at that point. And so,
yes. And to your point of what you were saying, that it's that neediness that again repels. So when we become detached from the outcome, it doesn't mean we're just sitting on the couch, leaning back saying, you know, I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm just going to think about this thing and it's going to show up. I'm good. No, that is not what we're doing. We are saying, I'm good without this. My life, I can find so many things to feel grateful for right now. I can find so many things to enjoy in this moment. And when that thing comes, that desire that I want comes, I'm going to be ecstatic. But until then, I find so many things I feel grateful for. And from this place, I take action, that aligned action part that we talked about last week. It's from this place that I take action. From this empowered place, knowing I'm valuable, knowing I am powerful. I feel confident. I feel empowered. What action, knowing this, what action would I take from here? Would I still sign with that potential business partner? If I was empowered, confident, knowing what I bring to the table is important, is valuable, would I still sign with that business partner? Or does that business partner just look really good right now because I'm desperate? That's the difference between taking energy out of fear and neediness and taking energy from a detached, empowered place. I'm sorry, taking action from a detached, empowered energy.
So just think about those things as you're moving forward in the next week.
Yes.
You know, just be conscious, because remember when we're talking about our limiting beliefs and everything like that back 6 weeks ago, the first step is self-awareness. So you need to be self-aware. So that's the first thing that we want to give you, is just these tools so that you can be like, oh, wait, am I doing this out of a fear or anxiety or neediness? Or is it just like a happy energy that I'm attracting towards me with all of these? And I'm aligning all of my happy energies with that. So, I mean, like, Erica, awesome. Intention, everyone's intentions are working together.
Yeah. See, and Erica,
love that.
a perfect example, because you thought that your desire was going to show up in a meat suit of one specific person. So if you would have put all of your eggs in that basket, you would have been disappointed because it didn't show up through that person. It showed up through another person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You focused on the desire, not how, not when, not who it was showing up.
So, but along those lines, so I mean, I love all these things. Yeah, angel, great. The universe is always working in your favor. Absolutely, it is. You know, that's a great thing to just tell yourself every day. One of the affirmations is if, you know, even once you start believing that, do that even more because it just underscores that in your mind. Like, oh yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, but so besides the fact of we want to come from a good energy and not a clouded, anxious, fearful energy, one of the other things to think about is that you can't just do nothing. You need to take some action that's in alignment with that. So in some of these examples here, you know, people are still taking action. They just don't know where that reward or that goal is necessarily coming from. They know that goal when they see it because they've thought about that and their self-awareness of that, but they don't necessarily know where it's coming from. So again, let's go back to that question of, you know, not can I make this thing happen, but ask yourself, how many ways can I make this thing happen, right? But don't force it, but man, make a good list of all your different possibilities in the world, because just going through those, how many different ways with that different question, then you can attract more possibilities. And you're like, you know, I didn't really give this much thought, but going down this 10th possibility down here. And at that time, now all of a sudden, this other thing is coming towards me that I didn't even think about. But if I had just asked that question of what's the one way to do it, or can this even happen? So now my mind thinks, oh, well, maybe not, right? Because when you ask can or can't, there's a possibility
yes
of
no.
Right? And so your fears are going to come out in those instances.
So don't give yourself the
opportunity. Don't give yourself the option. Just say, how many ways can this happen? And write down that list of 20 ways or something like that. So super fun. And then just attract those towards you and just know it might not be that one thing that you're trying to do, but be aware and be wide-eyed to all possibilities.
Yeah. And just stay focused. Again, our emotions are a huge driver. Our heart has a magnetic field that is over 100 times, 1,000 times greater than the brain, which means our emotions are more powerful than our thoughts. This has been studied by the HeartMath Institute. So our emotions are more powerful than our thoughts. So again, how is that desire going to make you feel? Take action from that emotional space. Okay, when you're feeling fear, when you're feeling anxiety, when you're feeling frustration, that's not a place to act from. That's when you take a break and you're like, I need to go do something to shift.
Yeah. So when you're feeling those things, right, you don't want to do an affirmation when you're feeling that fear, that anxiety from it. You don't want affirmations. We've talked about that because you're programming in the wrong space.
Your energy.
And you don't want to take action there. You need to do a shift. So what are some good shifts, right? So, I'm a runner. So one of the things I'll do is I'll just go run. I'm like, wow, clear my head. Another thing you could do real quickly is just drop and do 10 burpees, do some push-ups, do anything that gets your mind, everything just shifted around, you know, something like that. What are some shifts that you end up using in your life other than physical activities?
Yeah. So I'm reading John's comment. Yeah. I yell a lot. I yell in a pillow. I yell, and just like I'll shove my face in the bed and yell, I'll punch. So we move energy through sound, through movement, and through breath. So like for John, how he's saying the screaming fuck method he's been doing long before, seems like you're still holding on to anger. So that tells me you just have a lot of repressed anger. And we all have a lot of repressed emotions because chances are everyone on this call grew up in households with our parents not having the emotional intelligence to understand how to allow us to fully feel and process our emotions because they didn't learn how to feel and process their emotions. So we all have 30, 40, 50 years of built up repressed emotional energy. It's not a bad thing, but awareness is the first key here. So now that we're aware of that, we can know I'm feeling tension in my chest. This feels like anger. I'm pissed off right now. And if I'm pissed off because I'm not having this thing yet, that's great. So then go express that anger in a healthy way. We don't need to express it at anyone, but we don't want to push forward through that energy of frustration, that energy of fear, that energy of neediness. Instead, we want to take a step back, tune in for a second, just tune in. Ask yourself, seriously, get curious with your emotions, get curious with your pain, and ask it. How does this want to be acknowledged? How does this want to be expressed? I understand for men that might be a little more challenging because You're not really taught to connect with yourself, with your body. Women, it's more socially acceptable. But this is why, hey, Gabby, we're just happy you're here. So, but this is why, if you just take some time, just take a step back, do this in the privacy of being by yourself, whether it's in your car, in a room, in an office, wherever, but just ask, okay, I'm feeling this right now. Like, I'm really feeling this. What do you want to do? We all know what we want to do. We're just so good at talking ourselves out of it. Do you need to scream? Do you need to punch something? We all can say, like, oh, I just want to punch something right now. Do it. Do it. That's literally your body saying, this energy needs to get out, and I'm trying to release it. But you're not letting me. You're not letting me? It's the higher consciousness that we have that no other animal has. This is why when you see a zebra getting chased by a lion or a cheetah, after the chase is over, if it survived, it goes back to drinking water. You walk up to the zebra, you say, wow, that lion just chased you. What lion? It doesn't even have the necessary hardware to think about the lion chasing it. We do. We have the necessary hardware to think about the time it didn't work out, to think about when our mom screamed at us in front of everyone, to think about the time that we were rejected, to think about the time that we failed, even though we gave everything that we had in that moment. We have that. And that holds us back from expressing ourselves, because we also have the mental hardware to think about when we were sad and our mom told us, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. Right? So we learned, oh, not safe for me to cry. What happened in that moment? Your body was like, just sucked up and repressed all of that energy. That comes out when someone pulls out in front of you on the road and you cuss them out. Is that reaction warranted for that action? Probably not. When your kids are being too loud and you go crazy and you snap. When you're tired and your partner's asking you questions and you're like, can you just leave me alone? These are the times where our repressed emotions come out. When we want something so bad and it's not happening and we're feeling so angry about it. That's those repressed emotions coming up. So we got to move it out. You got to move it out, whether that's getting to the gym, whether that's screaming, punching. I'll just punch my bed. I'll go upstairs and punch the bed. Or I'll kick the floor, I'll stomp around. Literally, you can just throw your body on the ground and have a temper tantrum. Emotions are not logical, so we can't express them in a logical way. Don't try to be logical about it. Zach's laughing because I did an anger release above his office once.
Once, but I mean, but it's funny though, listening to you talk, Monique. I mean, I would think as someone else here that you're just screaming and yelling and punching things all the time.
No, I do because I have a lot of repressed anger from my childhood.
I don't hear a lot of it.
I do express it a lot. I've had to get very comfortable with it, with expressing that. And so I have a lot of repressed anger and sadness from my childhood. And it's usually an event that happens that makes you get that way. So this is called circumstantial power. You're giving your power away to that event. That event is what's called a trigger. We're going to talk about this in a later video.
But yeah. So those state shifts, guys, I love that. So just figure out what your good state shifts are and just have a couple of them and even write them down, because sometimes I'll need just a little nudge from her if I'm like, I'm pushing up against a wall with this thing. It's not. And she's just like, why don't you just go for a run? And I'm like, I knew I could go for a run. I knew that I'd want to, but like even other people offering suggestions, I love it. Hiking, nature is wonderful. Lots of peaceful things in that. Do a DIY project, change things up.
So if you're being triggered, like John, you're getting triggered. We all have triggers. We'll talk about triggers in another episode, or another call. But if you're being triggered, you need to recognize like, okay, this trigger is activating something within me. I got to step away. I got to remove myself from the situation. Maybe that's when you go yell. Maybe that's when you go run. Maybe that's when you go for a hike. Maybe that's when you just go sigh really loudly in your car. Whatever it is that you need to do, just practice following your body's impulse. Okay. So that's what I'll say about that. Cause I don't want to get too, I know I've gotten a little sidetracked, but just know that like having those repressed emotions are not a bad thing. And it doesn't mean that you still can't manifest what you want. It just means being aware of, okay, what did this trigger within me? Okay. And then from there, taking action of if this wanted to be expressed, how would I express it right now? How would I want to feel this? And then let yourself, and it's a learning curve, it's a process, but let yourself do that, because when you are thinking of something that you want and it's not here yet and you're feeling that frustration, you're separating yourself from your desire. That's the energy of separation. We cannot be one with our desire if we're feeling separate from it. So when we're getting triggered, or when we're feeling frustrated, or when we're feeling let down or upset or not good enough because this thing hasn't showed up yet, we're saying, I am separate than. We live in a yes universe. So the universe says, yes, you feel separate. Let me bring you more experiences that make you feel separate. Yes, you feel sad. Let me bring you more experiences that trigger that sadness. Yes, you feel angry. Let me put you in more situations that trigger that anger. Why? Because one, we're subconsciously leading ourselves to these situations so that we express these emotions fully, so that we can get it out of our system, so that we can align to our desires, right?
Does that resonate with anyone? You ever hear those? I mean, gosh, we even make little sayings about them in society, like, oh, bad things happen in threes. Right? So you can't just have one bad thing happen. You've got to have three of them happen. Oh, that's really shitty. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, you can program new realities into your life.
Program new thoughts, program new little sayings for yourself. Like one saying that I love, please adopt this. If it's not this, it's something better. If it's not this, it's something better. Because I have to believe that if what I want isn't showing up, it's either because it's just not the right time, or because something even better is showing up. If we just tell ourselves a bunch of mental stories, why not tell ourselves stories that feel good? Which leads me into the second shift that you get to make. So if you want something and you're like, yeah, I know that I don't have it and I want it, so how do I get it if I'm staying detached from it, if I'm not focusing on it, if I'm not dwelling on it? Well, you expect it. You expect that it's going to come. Like I said, it's going to come. And if it's not going to come, something even better is going to come in its place.
That feels good. That feels good on my soul.
Hold that belief.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hold that belief and that becomes your belief, then we begin to take action from that confident space, from that empowered space, knowing that I'm good no matter what. One, I'm good no matter what. I've lived my life up until this point without this desire, so I'm good no matter what. Two, and I know that it's coming if it's not here yet. And if this specific desire doesn't come, something even better is going to come. Like with Erica's example, her deal didn't come through one person, it came through another person that's been in her environment already for a year, randomly. So it's just thinking about that, shifting your beliefs so you can expect things to happen. Because when you expect that it's going to happen, what are you going to do? You're going to feel way more relaxed. You're going to feel way more calm. You're going to feel way more empowered. And you're going to take action through that energetic space. Okay? Through that emotional space, you're going to take different action from that needy, desperate space. Does that make sense? Is this resonating? Let me know if you guys need further examples. And furthermore, when you speak about that thing that you want, just a quick little vocabulary shift, instead of saying, oh, no, it hasn't happened, or, oh, yeah, it's not here yet. It hasn't happened yet.
Words are powerful.
Yes.
You're telling yourself words all the time. Mm-hmm.
I haven't taken the action necessary for me to create it yet.
Have you asked your question?
Prioritized that yet.
Have you asked how many ways can I get there, right?
Yes.
And have you visualized yourself in that future, like we talked about last week, of what are you going to feel like when you do have that thing? What is that happy energy that you have in that point? What are your emotions at that point, right? So you've got to start with all of that and then have that expectation that it is going to happen, because then you're like, all right, I know it's going to happen. All right, I have to do all these things that I put a list on, but you feel more even empowered to do those things at the end of the day. I mean, you feel much better to do them being like, okay, I just have to do these, right? As opposed to, I got to do this, but I don't know that this thing's really going to happen. I don't have that belief in myself. I don't have that expectation. If anything, good things don't happen to me. You ever cast that spell? You hear that spell when people cast that one?
Yeah, throw it out the window.
Yeah. So any of those little things, again, self-awareness is the first step. So just aware of what you think. 1, aware of what you say. 2, aware of all the words that are around you. 3, because all of those are casting spells on you.
And notice that So when we are working towards something, like for an example, if you've been working on a deal for a while and you've told a couple people about it and they say, "Hey, how's that deal coming along? Have you landed it yet?" And maybe you haven't yet. And so you're feeling a little shame or embarrassment coming up. And you're like, "Oh, actually, it feels like shit because I don't want to tell you that I haven't landed it yet, even though it's been like 2 months, it's still in progress." And you feel a little down on yourself. How many of us have experienced something like that? And you're like, or hey, have you reached that income goal yet? Or I know that you've been talking about this for a while. Like, has it happened yet? And we start to feel down. This is a perfect example of how our current reality can keep us stuck in the current reality. Remember at the very beginning of the call, I said, your reality is composed of the previous thoughts you've thought, emotions you felt, thus actions that you've taken up until this point. Okay. So if you are, and environments that you've dwelled in. So if you are wanting a different outcome, a different reality, you have to change your thoughts, your emotions, thus the actions that you're taking, which might include shifting how you are interacting with your environment if you can't actually change your environment, meaning the people that you're around. So some people can tell us, "Oh, you've been working on that thing for 2 months and you haven't landed it. Oh, you need to give that up. You need to just let it go. Like, what are you even doing? Do you really think this is going to work out?" I know when I quit my corporate job, my dad was like, "What? Are you crazy? You had such a good job and you just let it go? Like, what are you thinking?" And he couldn't see what I could feel in my heart about the business that I wanted to create. How many of us can resonate with that, that people in our life tell us, "Oh, you need to just like have told us in the past," or maybe there's like our parents or loved ones, they care about us and they think they're doing us a favor, but instead they're making us feel shameful, embarrassed, like we want to shut down, like we just want to like close ourselves off, right? So in response to those people, in response to those situations, we have to remember, okay, my current reality is accumulation of the past. I'm creating something new. So I have to shift things, which includes how I respond to this. So we can say things like, "Oh, it hasn't happened yet, but it's closer every day. I can feel it." Or, "Oh, it's in the process of going through." Because those sayings, they can hit us where it hurts the most in our confidence. Those questions, they can hurt. Knowing that, "Oh crap, I really haven't like landed that deal yet. Like, am I doing something wrong? Like, what is going on?" Those are disempowering thoughts. So if we're going to tell ourselves anything, why not tell ourselves something that feels good? Thus, we can tell the story to other people, something that feels good. For an example, someone says, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, have you hit that deal yet? Have you had that income come in yet?" And I'm just like, "Actually, it's going great. It's going to happen right on time, right when it's supposed to. I'm taking action daily. It's getting closer and closer. Things are moving on. Things are moving along exactly as they're meant to. I'm really excited for this." Feel the difference in that versus just like, "Oh yeah, you're right. It is taking a while."
Or feel if you're feeling resistance to those words that she's saying. Because you might feel that resistance. And that's just, all of that is great self-awareness, right? So we just have to start there. But I mean, in general, they're better words. There's no doubt that they're better, they're more empowering words at the end of the day. So that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people that use good words, that encourage you into everything that you're doing.
Yes. But this is part of that role of expecting it, of expecting that it's going to happen. How are you speaking to the people around you? Are you speaking as if you expect this thing's going to happen? Or are you speaking as if you're already defeated? Because whichever way, you're going to be right.
Yeah.
We are self-fulfilling prophecies. And I love that Henry Ford quote. Whether you think whether
you think you can or you can't, you're right.
You're right.
That it's just running, to me, running a marathon from 2 miles to a full marathon in 4 months. That is what it taught me. And that's why I love running in general and teaching other people to run, because it's an easy, very accessible example of whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's it. Running is over 50% mental. If you didn't know that, now you know that. I'm telling you that. Because you think you're a good runner or not a good runner, but that it's just synonymous to anything in life. Whether you think you're good at it or not, You're right.
And if you don't expect it for yourself, then why would it show up for you?
Mm.
If you don't think that you are going to experience it, why would you take action to make it happen? You have to believe in yourself before other people do, because other people will respond to you. You have to expect it before you have proof of it, because that's going to dictate the action that you take. And you have to take different action if you want a different result. Okay. And this also leads me into the third shift that you get to make, which is trusting that space in between the ask, this is a desire that I have, this is what I want, and it showing up in your reality. So trusting that void. So that the void is the time between the ask and the actual manifestation of it, the creation of it, the money in your bank account, the new business deal, the contract signed, the relationship, the reaching that goal on the scale. Whatever it is for you, from that moment that you decide that it's going to happen to it showing up, this is the void. And what you do in the void determines how quickly or how elongated this process is going to be. Okay. So if you're desperate or you're disappointed that it hasn't happened yet, then, or you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing something wrong. What's going on? And you're feeling disappointment, you're feeling desperation. What is this telling you? It's telling you that you're not enjoying your life in the void. Why do you want that thing to begin with? You want it because you want to feel more fulfillment. You want to feel more enjoyment. You want to feel more love. You want to feel more excitement. You want to feel more safety. You want to feel more security. You want to feel more freedom. You want what you want because of how you think it's going to make you feel, but yet you're not doing your part to feel that now. So therefore, you're watching paint dry and you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. And you're just sitting there and you're waiting and you're waiting. You're waiting for water to boil. You're waiting for the microwave to end. And you're like, this is the longest minute of my life. You're doing a plank. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is the longest plank ever. I feel like that last 15 seconds lasted 40. When instead, how many times have we heard, wow, time flies when you're having fun. You're outside playing with your kids, with friends when you were younger. Your mom's calling you to dinner. And you're like, Mom, we just got outside. She's like, you've been outside for 2 hours. Get your butt home. Or you're on a date, or you're just with your partner, or with a group of friends, and you're just enjoying yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, 3 hours have already flown by. This is because our perception of time dictates how long it takes. So when we're having fun, our perception of time is that it's flying by. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, I cannot believe it's already been this long. I feel like we just started talking. Or when you're bored out of your mind, when you're angry, when you're disappointed, when you're waiting for that text back, when you're waiting for that email.
Those are the longest seconds ever.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because our perception of time dictates how long it feels. So if we are enjoying the void, doing things to keep our mind in that higher elevated state of feeling empowered, feeling confident, feeling like, yeah, this is totally working out in my favor, then guess what? It's going to feel like from the time that you ask for what you want to the time that it happens is going to feel a lot less than if you were just waking up every day like, well, hasn't happened yet. Or, well, this isn't it. Well, that deal fell through. What am I doing wrong? Why does this keep happening to me? It's going to feel like you are in a perpetual Groundhog Day.
So which reality would you guys rather live in?
Yeah, it's ultimately your choice.
I mean, literally, you're going to live those days the same. You're going to hold that plank for 60 seconds and it'll feel like 60 days, you know? But which reality do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the one where you're just, fearing the next thing, seeing that this didn't happen, everything is coming true. Wow, this is taking so long for this to happen. Or do you want to live in the thought and the feelings of, this is where I'm going. This is what it's going to feel like when I'm there. And you can visualize it. I love it. Danielle. Yep, absolutely. Visualizing things. Morgan. And just going through that, visualizing that in the process, enjoying the process, being very thankful, very appreciative of everyone around you, and encouraging yourself and telling everyone that, yes, this can happen. This is happening. Do you know that me running that marathon in those four months, I had thoughts that I couldn't fricking do it. Are you kidding me? I could talk to you forever about how much I didn't think I was going to do it, but I put myself out there. I used like even an app to make me accountable that put it out into social media that said, Zach's going on a run. You can text him and it's going to talk to him right in his ear. So I knew that everyone out there was watching me run because I'm just saying, this is what I'm doing. I said, I'm going to go and run this marathon. So there's more accountability.
Yeah,
there's more
you're
energy.
placing the expectation that you're going to be successful,
happen.
not only in your mind, but in the minds of other people.
I'm planting
So
that
then you're
seed.
building that energy behind you.
So all of their energy around it, instead of them thinking, oh, Zach can't do this. I've never seen him run at all. Right now, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, he's a runner. Wow, he's doing that. Wow, he's running more than me. So they're giving me that great energy.
Yes.
Can you get that? I mean, so it's the same thing, but it's like, I still had a little bit of doubt, man. Every time I would go out to run, like, oh man, I'm not a runner, whatever. Let me just trust that this is the process. This is what it's going through, and I'm going to get there at the end of the day because holy smokes, I said I would. I'm following a plan that should work. So follow a good plan of where you're trying to go. It's always great to have a coach in everything that you're doing. Both of us have coaches, by the way, and things that we are trying to do in this world. And so then you will attract that from all of that energy that's out there. It's like, well, I can't fail at this point. Everyone is seeing me doing it. And when they give me a little encouragement on social media, they reach out and they say something to me, I'm just like, wow, yeah, I'm taking that energy that you're giving to me, saying that I'm doing well or whatever. Maybe they're razzing me. It's like run faster, something like that. But they're still talking to me about it and they're still helping me co-create my future.
Yes. And you have to decide what your expectation is. Other people will follow suit.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
don't let them decide that for you.
Yeah. If you don't decide, they're going to decide for you. And it's going to feel very disempowering because it's these people that you care about that are telling you you're making a mistake. What are you even doing with your life? When you can see the vision, you can feel how it's going to feel in your body, in your heart. They can't. They only know how much you believe in it. You have to decide, I am expecting this to happen and I'm going to enjoy every moment until it does, because I know it's inevitable that it's going to happen. And like I was saying, and Zach was saying, like, you get to choose the reality that you're living in, whether you wake up and like what you want to happen, the contract's not signed, the email's not received, the deal hasn't gone through yet. And you're just like feeling so self-depreciated, or you say, wow, this means it's getting even closer. This means that it's going to happen even sooner. I'm one day closer to this happening versus another day gone by that it hasn't happened. It's the same thing. You're just looking at it through two different lenses. Remember, the possibility of something happening or not happening is the same. What's dependent upon it happening or not happening is your belief in yourself, your expectation that it will, and how much you're enjoying the process as is. That's just going to dictate the timeline.
That'll dictate the timeline and that'll just encourage you along the way. So yeah, to your point, oh man, dang, Monique, absolutely. Dang. Yeah. So, how many ways can you help yourself out in that? So trying to pull an example from things that I'm doing. So All right. So I know that there's things that I might be putting off, like going and analyzing this deal to put an offer in, or refinancing some of these properties. It's just things that I know I've got to do. Well, one of the tricks that I do is first prioritize everything properly, because so that you're not getting little dopamine from doing stupid stuff around the house. And you should be focusing on that. Active procrastination, we'd call it. But beyond that, get excited for it the night before. So, like literally, I know that I've got to do something today. I've been comparing a bunch of different lenders to refinance some properties. She doesn't know, but I mean, it's something that's important that I need to do for my future goals and everything. But I get excited about it the night before. I like to ask myself, what am I excited to do tomorrow? What am I excited to do the next day? I go to bed with excitement. And I wake up knowing what I'm going to do, already having that programmed excitement in there. So it makes it more possible, and it overshadows any fears, doubts, like, oh, the rates are not good enough for this or that and that, whatever, as long as you've done your homework for everything, or they're not going to accept my deal. If I put this, it's going to be wasted time maybe to put out this offer to people. BS. And you know what? I'm going to be excited about doing it because I'm going to get better. I'm going to make more connections. And if not this deal, then something better. Remember, Monique was just saying, if not this thing to happen, then something better is just around the corner. It's going to show up. And so just detach yourself from that, trusting in that void, that third thing.
From like the need, like the one reason why you think you're doing it. Like Zach said, he has some stuff that he needs to do, but who knows, maybe he gets some deals worked out and he sends them to some people and it doesn't work out with those people. But then someone else says, hey, I need some numbers on a couple of deals. You got any ready? He's like, actually, yes, I do. So you never know what that end result's going to be. But if you hold the belief that it's this or something better, then you sure as shit better bet yourself that it's going to be that or something better, because you are creating this. Okay. Your energy that you're giving out is creating this. When you feel excitement, where do you feel that? In your heart. Your heart has the strongest magnetic field of any organ in your body. So when you feel that, and you take action from that place. And if it's something that you're just like, gosh, I just really don't want to do this, get excited about the other side of the action. What's the other side of the action going to be? If you're like, gosh, I really just don't want to take this action. Okay, but taking it, what will it get me? It'll help me feel relief. It'll help me feel like, oh, this is done. It'll help me feel like, oh, I got this. And it'll just help you feel more confident. Or you hire someone to do it for you if you really don't want to do it. There are so many options. But ultimately, tell yourself stories that benefit you in the process.
Okay. So, so Angel, awesome. Remind everyone that I have a great matrix for that. Sure. Okay. So I want to reward everyone for coming on this call with us today. Besides the engagement that you've already had here, I'm going to drop this into the link. This is my manifesting matrix. It's something that I use in the chat. Sorry. Something that I use daily, and especially something that I use when I'm in a bad negative state about something, or if I want to prime myself. And so it's my daily sheet that I end up using to organize, prioritize everything that I need to do, but also get me in that mindset of just that happy morning, that happy night. It's got things that are all aligned in there so that it's all in front of your face. Why are you living life? What's your why in life? It's right there in front of me when I'm doing anything. So it's real quick to reset myself if I'm having some issues. Has some affirmations just to put on there, because sometimes it's good to actively use those. But yeah, so try that out for yourself. I'm going to be going over some of that in some videos and things just to help you guys out. But yeah, it's been a shift for me. And this is the third iteration of it, the third showing of it. I've tweaked it, something that I've pulled a lot of techniques all together from different areas of life, my journey of a strong mind and everything. And so there'll be a fourth version. I mean, I'm going to always continually make it better because it's super helpful in everything that I do. And it even reminds me, What are my self-care things? What are those state changes that I love? Because I'm a very visual person. I don't know whether, you guys are or not, but whatever I see in front of me, I'll work on. Right. And so if you don't have the right things prioritized in front of you, you're not going to work on that. Right.
Mhm.
So, yeah, a very hands-on kinesthetic type of learning. When you write something down, you're like, well, this is now etched in stone right here. So do that in a wonderful way. And yeah, it's made me extremely intentional about everything that I want to do and feel in life. And intentionality is so powerful in this world, because then you can attract all those things that you want.
Because your intention drives your energy, and that's what you create more of.
And so just to give you a quick backstory with this, I'll say that for another day. So I'm just dropping this for you guys right now, because I didn't really anticipate on doing that, but I'm getting a look from her because we got to probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions, I want to
so you guys can grab that in the chat if you want that. And one more thing, I just want to go back to Colin made a comment towards the beginning of the call about just feeling gratitude. Like when you feel gratitude now for that which you don't have, that is only going to bring that into your life full circle. So it goes back to, what is the feeling of the desire? Bring that into your life now. Even if it's just little pockets throughout the day, the more you can feel that now, it is bound to find its way to you. We are electromagnetic. We're always sending out little impulses into the universe. Okay. The most important part of this is the feelings that we have in our heart. Now, you still might feel anger. You still might feel disappointment. You still might feel frustrated. That's okay. You don't have to heal all of your repressed emotions today. It's okay. But when those repressed emotions come, honor them. Honor them, honor your body, honor the experience that you want to have, and do it. But in any other time, feel the excitement of that desire coming. Feel the fulfillment of having all of your needs met, plus some. Feel the secure attachment of knowing I'm good no matter what. This is going to work out, or something better is going to come along. Feel the joy of seeing that money in your bank account and knowing everything's taken care of. Feel just that like giddiness of knowing that you have a new business partner, that you both are going to support each other through everything. And feel the lightheartedness of just knowing I don't have to do this on my own. I'm not doing this on my own. I never was, but I've been taking on this responsibility that's not mine. I mean, if you're religious, in the Bible, literally it tells us, give your worries to Jesus. Like, they're not for you to sit on your heart, because that will then make you take different action that doesn't serve you. And it will make you feel ways that are not in alignment with your best and highest good. And to be into energetic alignment with our best and highest good, we have to understand that I get to focus on things that make me feel good. And then the worries and the fears, those, I'm going to have them, and I don't need to focus on them. I don't need to dwell on them. When I feel needy, when I feel like I'm strangling that desire, that's when I get to step back and realize, like, reassess my internal power, my confidence. Okay. So I feel like we talked about a lot today. Yeah. So we hope that
great, because we always tailor everything to whatever comes up for you guys. That's the point. That's the beauty of you guys showing up here live for everything, is that we want to answer your questions. We want to dive deeper into your examples. We want to help you specifically. So please, and show up every week. We get so much fuel out of that. We love you all so much. You don't even know. I don't know. Do we want to ask?
Does anyone have any questions?
We want to wrap things up, because we like
clarification.
Because we like to start right at 11 and end right at 12 for everyone.
Questions.
But then if there's some questions, we don't mind taking a little bit longer afterwards if you wanted to.
I do want to just
raise your hand or anything, or type something in.
next week we were going to continue on with manifestation, but I noticed a few comments coming up around scarcity mindset that is relevant to manifestation. So I think next week we're going to dive into scarcity mindset and how to overcome scarcity mindset and
That's a good
feeling
one.
fear around not having enough. So we're going to dive into that next week. I think it's going to be really, really fun because we'll pull it into how we're either creating more scarcity in our life and how to pull ourselves out of it. Because sometimes it feels like a never ending pit when we're stuck in that feeling of scarcity. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And that struggle and that feast or famine. And so I think that that's what I'm feeling into. We'll address next week. So it doesn't look like we have any questions. Thank you guys for showing up live. The energy is always so much fun when you guys are live. The chat was popping. So
Yeah.
really
Thank you all.
happy to engage with everybody. We hope that this just kind of set you up for some success this week. And just again, if you didn't watch last week's video, go back and build some believability, but then think of some things like, what do I want to show up in my life? Think something small. There's no such thing as insignificance to the universe. A dime is $1, is $100, is $1,000, is $1 million. It's all energy. So if you want to find a dime, find a dime. Then if you want to turn that into $1, get $1. You want to turn that into a free coffee, try to work on a free coffee, but use these shifts and this process to start intentionally creating your days, intentionally creating your weeks and your months and your life, and use Zach's manifestation matrix to help you stay focused and help you stay with what is priority and really just taking the action that matters most in an energetic state that you feel empowered in, that taking the action from there.
Yeah. Love it. Let me know your thoughts or anything. Oh yeah, Danielle, here it's in the chat. So it's just, there's a link again.
I'll post it.
I'll put it here. Yeah, I'll post it on my Facebook page too, just so that you guys have something there. I mean, always looking to give and love on everyone around. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Awesome.
We will see you guys next
Scarcity
Thursday.
next week.
Yeah,
Love it.
we're gonna
I
tackle
hate
that.
it, but love it.
We will tackle it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for everything, guys. We love you. Love you so much for being here. Take care and
have a wonderful
have an
weekend.
awesome, outstanding week. Yeah. Bye.